Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Louis Taylor. I'm a composer from Bristol, and this is going to be a new series that I'm going to be running in parallel with my How to Write for Orchestra series, so that you can apply that alongside this one. This one is going to be about writing video game music, which is one of my greatest joys in life at the moment, and I'm sure will be for a very long time. Basically, what I'm going to be doing in this series is I'm going to be going literally from literal start to literal finish, from writing down the very first ideas to sampling them, and then exporting the stems, putting them into Fmod, and I might compare with WYs as well, and then eventually that would be passed off to the game developer then, and it would be out of my hands once that's all done. So I want it to be quite a interactive series as well, so if there's any specific comments that you guys want to make about the music, please do say. I'd love the feedback as we go and write more of it. So basically, thanks for joining me, and we're just going to jump straight over to my computer now. So I'm running on a Mac Mini, which is a brand new computer I've just got, which I'm really lucky to have now, and I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be basing my track off of. So I'm working on a game currently called Adapt, which is a really cool, fun little evolution-based simulation game, and the soundtrack for that so far has gone quite well, and I'm really happy with it. It's been really fun. So what I'm going to do is task myself with coming up with a new piece of slightly ambient music for that. A more typical piece that I might write for the game, as opposed to a main theme. So first of all, let's just take a look at some of the other stuff that I've written for Adapt so far. And my general process is that I will write down the ideas in my notation software, which I'll show you now. So here I've just got a template which I've just made for this video. Just a big orchestral template on Dorico, which is the software I'm using. Lots of basically double woodwinds with a few auxiliaries. I suppose triple woodwinds actually then. And there's 4 types of flute. Triple brass with 4 horns, some basic percussion here, and strings basically. And basically, if I want to add anything along the line, I'll just add something, like if I want a guitar, which isn't currently in here. I'm probably more likely to add that later in my DAW anyway, in Logic, but I'll add that in the template too. And yeah, so let's just see what we've got so far. So I'll give you a quick preview of the sort of tone of the game soundtrack and a little bit of the idea of the theme as well. So let's just jump straight in here with the main theme. Let's see here. This is the main theme. So as you hear, it's quite sort of cute, friendly, welcome, warm. There's marimbas, big fat tuba doing the bass line. It's very chamber-sized ensemble currently. Alto flute coming in there, flutter tongue, making it sound slightly more ethnic, but not too foreign. Because I still wanted it to be a welcome, friendly track. This is the main menu theme after all. Little cute xylophone coming in there. Little tambourine. And the alto flute's coming back there, doubling the xylophone. So I think you get the idea with that basically, and there's some vibraphone in there as well. Lots of percussion. The developer of this game really wanted me to hammer home the percussive elements like the marimba and things like that, because that's the sort of tone of the soundtrack that we're looking for in this game. Now, I've taken a different approach with the Grasslands Theme, which is a more fast-paced looping track. It's going to be adaptive to the game, which I'll explain later what that means by adaptive. But stay tuned, that's important for when we get to implementation and Fmod and WYs. So this one is a string quartet with, eventually there is some percussive elements too, but mainly string quartet with some melodic clarinet and some counter flute. So let's just have a quick listen to that. I'm going to jump straight in. It's all very much in a Dorian sort of mode as well. And Aeolian. As in the whole soundtrack. Grasslands Theme there. So that's that. By the way, a lot of these you can check out on my SoundCloud and some of them on YouTube as well, so you can have a look for yourselves what this is going to be. Okay, let's think about some of the other tracks we've got here. The reason why I'm doing this, by the way, is so that I can familiarise myself with some of the game's themes and the tone in general, because if I'm working on projects side by side, sometimes it's good to just familiarise yourself, refresh the feeling of the game, and specifically some of the motivic, thematic material that I'm going to be putting into the soundtrack, into this piece, so I can think about what I want. Sometimes I want a completely fresh melody for something, sometimes I want a complete development, sometimes a bit of both. So one of the ones that is quite recently been done is let me just find it real quick. It's the nighttime theme, but it's not this one. This is like an old version of it. So I think this is the older version. Very relaxing, calm, melodic and ambient. I actually recently made that track more in style with the tone of the original soundtrack by adding in some marimba. It's very simple, one more instrument, and it made it all the difference. And I can show you that in another time, about how I made that more adaptive to the game. Lastly, let's have a quick look at the jungle theme, which is very much percussion based. Actually, it might be quite interesting to have a look at the old version versus the new version, so to see how I've changed. So this is the old version. As you can hear, it's very orchestral, this track, very heavy brass in there, lots of violins. The new version, much simpler, much more in tune, much more in line with the game's general theme. So you hear much more percussion based, lighter, more intimate sounding, and also I would say more jungly, if anything. The other one sounds a bit too sort of eastern, as opposed to like specifically jungle. So, and to keep with that sort of chamber vibe, I've removed the violins there. I've added some close mic'd, intimate flute and clarinet, similar to the Grasslands theme. Very similar ensembles here. Not to say though that I won't be afraid to venture out into some other orchestral territories, which I have done. So this track is a nighttime theme for Adapt, and it's quite a large orchestral track. So let's just have a quick look at this one. So as you can see here, there's quite a few instruments, but it's still quite a small orchestra in the grand scheme. Quite different to the other tracks, but still, the developer liked this one as a standalone. So it's been great to see you guys again, and I will see you in part 1, which I'll be uploading straight after this one, of how to write video game music, or let's write video game music, and we'll be jumping straight in to Doriko and starting the track. So it's been great talking to you guys again, and I'll see you shortly.